Hello and welcome to episode number 4 of Modern Family. Delighted that you're joining us. My name's Ryan, and again, for the last time, joined by Charlotte to talk about the power and danger of ambition. If you have not watched any of our other episodes, please do pause here and go back and watch episodes 1 through 3, because it'll just give you a context of our entire series as we talk about this idea of a collective calling, which is so important for us. So we are talking about Jacob today
You love Jacob?
and ambition. Well, his story dominates
Yeah.
a lot of Genesis.
Oh, so many chapters.
Yeah,
You
so-
love his formation.
Well, this-
what is it you love about him?
Yeah, this is so interesting to me, which actually I'd never really seen until we started talking about it. So Jacob is obviously born, and you see his sense of ambition literally from the moment he's
Yeah,
born.
in the womb.
Yeah, like he comes out grabbing his brother's heel, and he comes out, and what's portrayed of him is somebody that will do anything to climb the social,
Yeah.
financial ladder,
Get ahead.
whatever it is. And it's sort of it culminates in this moment, which I've always kind of focused on Esau, his brother, like how he gives away his birthright, and you're like, man, what are you thinking, just for a meal? And so much emphasis has been put on desire and how desire can lead us away, but actually Jacob seizes the opportunity
Oh, yeah.
in his brother's vulnerability, where he could have been like, bro, what are you doing? Like, you're hungry, just
Eat the
stop.
stew.
Yeah, just wise up. Here's a meal. Keep your birthright. But he seizes the opportunity.
Yeah.
He takes that. And probably the scariest thing for me is he receives the blessing that was meant for his brother. And the scariest thing for me in this is a number of things. He is promised God's blessing
Yeah.
from the beginning.
Yeah.
And so he sort of takes matters into his own hands, right? That's the first thing. He forces blessing. The second thing is, it seems like he comes away richer, right?
He
like
does.
Like he gets the blessing from his brother, and it seems like he's richer. But actually, then as you see the whole story pan out, here's a guy whose ambition, actually, in the longevity of the story, he loses relational strength.
Yeah.
He loses his brother,
Yeah.
and causes him such strife, and becomes so isolated as a result of that.
Yeah.
We've so much that we can learn from that
Yeah.
in that moment, where is our ambition pursuing human blessing, or is our ambition pursuing God's blessing? Which then, as you continue to follow the story, then Jacob ends up giving back. He has this wrestle with God, which you've said before, theologians debate over what on earth
So mysterious.
is happening there. But in the dirt and in the muck of life, he has this encounter with God and comes out with a desire to see the blessing of God. That's his ambition, becomes the blessing of God. And he then goes, and when he meets with Esau, he tries to give him back the blessing.
Yeah.
And then there's this line towards the end of his story where it says Jacob walked at the back of the people that he was leading. This ambitious leader
The heel grabber who's trying
Yes.
to get out of the womb first.
now walks at the back
Yeah.
with the children and the animals,
animals.
with a limp. And you now suddenly see this portrayal of an ambitious man pursuing God's blessing with humility, and a very, very different story. I think this conversation is important because ambition is really, really important. We want to be ambitious. We want to have great visions and dreams, and a desire to see growth and expansion and building and movement along the way. But I think what's really important is what we learn from this is how can we ensure our ambition is submitted to the will of Jesus, and not just our own desire. And it's so hard. We were talking a little bit about this. It's so hard sometimes to tell the difference between the two.
No,
It's
so
literally a
hard.
motivation
Yeah.
or a movement of the heart.
Yeah.
What's
so
important
hard.
in this?
I think what you're saying is true. It goes back to our previous episode where it's not a problem with the personality who is ambitious. Some people are just naturally more ambitious than others, and by that I mean they've got goals, they've always got goals, they want to keep moving, they want their families, their friendship groups, whatever they're involved in. Often people who end up in leadership positions have this kind of personality, not always thankfully, but often, because other types of personalities have something to offer into the leadership space too. So there's nothing wrong with the personality, and it's like God doesn't want to sanitize our personality so that we're all just flat. He wants to sanctify it.
Yeah, it's
He
good.
wants to sanctify our personalities. And so if we're an ambitious person, the question is, how can the Lord sanctify that ambition? Because the issue is at the start, Jacob's ambition is not sanctified. And by that, I mean it's not holy. And the indicators that Jacob's ambition is not holy is that what are you willing to sacrifice for your goals is a really, really good question for the ambitious person. Because we're not saying you shouldn't have goals. The Lord hasn't wired you that way intentionally so that because often an ambitious person brings momentum to communities. And so that's really, really important. But what are you willing to sacrifice to reach your goal can give you a window into whether it has become hijacked or whether some sanctification is required. So if in order to get the goals that you feel the Lord has placed in your heart, if you're willing to sacrifice your reputation or your pride or like class, crack on. But if you get to a stage where in order to get your goals, you're willing to sacrifice your relational spaces, your values, kingdom ethic, when those things start to get sacrificed because you feel like the goal is more important than those things, something has gone wrong.
That's the marker.
Yeah, and you are now being driven by ambition instead of led by the Lord. So you can be ambitious, but you can't be driven by ambition because that ambition can take on a momentum of its own that then drives you, and you end up running at a pace doing things, and then you get to the end of your life with all of your goals that you've reached because you've been ambitious and nothing else.
Yeah.
You've lost everything else along the way. You've lost your walk with Jesus. You don't even know where that fell away. You've lost your closest friendships because you just stopped being a priority. You've lost your contribution outside of those goals. Like your goals is all you got. You got your goal, but you lost everything else.
Yeah.
And that's Jacob's story, because though he steals both the birthright and the blessing, he steals two different things from his brother. And it looks like, oh, the only one who loses is Esau. But who's the one who loses his home?
Yeah.
Jacob. Who's the one who loses the land, which is what the birthright and blessing is all about. It's when Abraham, his forefather, it was always about the land. He actually loses the thing that he's grasped hold of. And the Lord in his grace will bring him back to a place where that's restored to him. But it's not his ambition that gets him there.
No.
It's his ambition, which is now driving him, means that he loses that. So Esau is still at home and Jacob ends up on the run and away from his mum, who they have this like really close relationship, loses that, ends up away from all of that, having to make his own way in the world. And so he gets his goal, he's got the birthright and the blessing, essentially, but he's lost everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's a real danger in ambition and the question is, what am I willing to sacrifice to get to my goals?
Yeah, on the altar of ambition.
On the altar of ambition, what am I willing to sacrifice? It's scary, isn't it?
Well, it is, like, because Jacob gets the blessing. Like, it seems like he's richer. Like it. So I guess if you even have, if we can have a mindset of where we're thinking long term, not just if I achieve this. It's more if I achieve this, what's the long term outcome here? I don't know. Maybe that is helpful in our thinking around this. It just is. The whole story of Jacob has been flipped for me around this because it's been so focused on Esau's weakness, but actually Jacob's weakness to ambition, an unsanctified ambition is what leads him into such trouble.
Yeah, and what restores him is a lifetime to learn a different thing, you know. And what will restore us, our ambition, into its rightful place is good, solid discipleship.
Yeah.
Where we're very, very concerned about the kingdom ethic and value.
Yeah.
And so I think the difficulty is, particularly in Christian worlds, when you feel like the Lord has given you a dream, right? So, and I don't mean in Christian ministry. I have lots of friends who are not involved in the church world in any formal way, but they really believe that they're serving the purpose of the Lord that the Lord has given them in a huge amount of spheres in the world. So, does God give us purpose, a sense of purpose and dreams? Is there good works ordained for us to walk into? Does the Lord himself have goals like for us? Yeah, absolutely. And then the complexity comes when that is the only thing we become aware of, is that, but this is the thing God told me to do. So you're just slowing me down. You're stopping me from living into this goal. But God is not just concerned about the realization of his purposes. He's very, very concerned about who we're becoming as those purposes are realized, because that is essentially what discipleship is becoming like Christ, not building something or doing something. It's who am I becoming as I pursue this? And I think that starts to highlight when ambition is going wrong, you know.
Right.
And I think there are lots of people who would say they started off well, but then kind of lost the run of themselves a wee bit, in terms, because the way that we do things is just as important as what we do. And if we're willing to sacrifice some of those kingdom ethics of love, grace, patience, is the fruit of the Spirit being manifested in me while I track after this goal? And if I'm becoming less patient, less kind, less joyful, less loving, less faithful, my question is this the Lord at work?
Is it a sanctified ambition?
Or is something going on here that I need to take a beat?
Yeah, really helpful. Because I think the scariest thing for me in this is how much it can be hidden behind spirit. Like, we spiritualize ambition.
Spiritualize it, yeah.
God has said this to me, therefore get out the way.
Yeah, get on the bus or the bus is running you over.
Yeah, and that can be praised. You know,
Yeah.
that looks like courage.
Because, like you said about Jacob, it looks effective
Yeah,
because you get to your goals much faster.
yeah,
So the thing about Jacob is he gets to what God had promised him. God had promised him that he would be, you know, there was this blessing while they were still in the womb, that the older would essentially serve the younger, that the blessing was on Jacob. And the issue with Jacob is he wants to get there quick. So it, like you said, looks like it's been really successful, but that's just because it's been quick.
yeah.
And so an ambitious life can look like a really effective life because you get to your goals much quicker by forgetting all the other things about values and kingdom ethic and fruit of the Spirit. Like, you can get the thing done,
Yeah.
but you've killed your team.
Neil, who's helping us film this, he'll always talk about the danger of efficiency, which I think is so helpful. It's like, do we choose the sort of efficient way, or should we choose the effective way?
Yeah.
And I think when we're just trying to be efficient and get it done, I think a lot of those things get sacrificed on the altar of ambition.
Absolutely.
We lose a sense of ourselves in that, which
Yeah.
Jacob does. Let me spin it slightly here, which I'm thinking about, right?
We spin.
So
Let's go.
because we're not just speaking to those who are ambitious, we're also speaking to those who aren't.
Yep.
And I think we can spiritualize that too.
100%.
I think we can spiritualize non-ambition and say, I'm just focusing on who I'm becoming. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Dude,
sometimes you need a
goals.
firecracker to get you going.
Yeah.
I actually think you've modeled this really well, right? Like, you shared a little bit of your journey in episode 1 as well. But you are ambitious, but you've done it in such a way where not perfectly, I'm not portraying you as perfect,
No, I'm
but
not.
I think you've done it in such a way that there's a humility and a togetherness with others in this. But you haven't always been that way. You know, if you would have said, when you talk about that time in your life when you couldn't leave the house, the anxiety, to then get up and preach in front of and lead a church, you know, what shifted? Like, what was helpful for you? Were you always ambitious, or, you know, because you would never have gone, yeah, I'll be the person to do that, but you were led into that. So how can we, for those of us that are not really that ambitious, really content, I'll just be with Jesus, me and him, I'm all good. How do we cultivate a sense of ambition? Maybe that's the wrong question,
No,
but
I don't think it's the wrong question. I'm not ambitious at all. And that is a strength and a weakness.
right.
Because I had a teacher once who said to me, Charlotte, I am very concerned you're going to do nothing with your life.
Wow.
Yeah, cut deep, because I loved her.
Wow. Tough love.
And, you know, honestly, up until probably a year ago, I would have been like, she shouldn't have said that. But actually now I'm like, I think she was right to be afraid.
Wow.
Because I had no ambition at all. I just like, let me just chill here with Jesus. I'll
But
be fine.
she obviously saw something
She
in
saw
you.
potential that was going to be unrealized, and that's the shadow side of a lack of sanctified ambition.
Wow.
Is that you can be jam packed with potential and you go nowhere. And I think the saving grace for me has been two things. Obedience has taken me places my ambition wouldn't have,
Yeah.
because the Lord I have had a walk with Jesus that has demanded that I am obedient beyond my level of ambition. It's like, I'm asking you to do this. So either you're going to obey or you're not going to obey. But either I'm your Lord or you're not. I'm not your Lord. So like, God always gets me on obedience. So that's one part of it. And second part, being around people who are ambitious in a beautiful, holy way has been super helpful for me. Because I think whenever you're not ambitious by nature, people who have a great deal of ambition but it's not sanctified, that just is so, you just hate it. You're just like, this is disgusting. And then you just write off ambition
Yes.
altogether and you become really self-righteous. I'm so righteous because I'm not ambitious.
Yes. All I want is Jesus.
All I want is Jesus. You guys and your goals and your vision casting.
That's a great portrayal of what can often happen. Is
Exactly.
the dynamic that
Because
plays
on
out.
the other side, people who are ambitious are like, oh, they're just slobbing about doing nothing,
Yeah.
you know, and it's really easy to just make your personality type Christ-like and
Yeah.
everybody else's personality type not
That
Christ-like.
line is so good. So your ambition has, what is it? Something about ambition and obedience. It's like you're not going to remember what you said.
My obedience took me where my
Yes,
ambition couldn't.
that is so good.
Yeah, but also I would say being around people who were wired differently, who are a bit more ambitious and have a wee bit more get up and go in them, but were also very committed to Christ and very Christ-like in how they navigated that. So it's okay. I could see, oh, having goals is not unholy.
Yeah.
It's just unholy when your goals become your Lord.
Yeah.
Your goals can't become your Lord. Your Lord is your Lord, and the goals come under Him.
Brilliant.
And that means Jesus at any time can press pause on your goal and say, not today, big lad. You know, we're not doing this today, or you're not ready.
And you'll learn a lot about what is Lord when that happens.
Oh,
whether or
aye.
not you go, I appreciate what you're saying, Jesus, but please step out the way. You told me to
I
do
don't
this.
think that was Jesus said
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Yeah. Like you'll learn very quickly. I think it's really helpful to talk about some of the identifiers in this, because it's nuanced in a sense. Like it's
so difficult.
and we will spiritualize it either way.
Either way, yeah.
And so to have us just an openness in our hearts to actually be able to say, Lord, I submit this to you. Like if I'm struggling with ambition, help my obedience take me where ambition won't.
Yeah,
And then if I am ambitious, help sanctify my ambition
yeah.
to be the Jacob at the end of the story
I know, it's so good.
who models. I just think that picture of to be an ambitious person who walks at the back with the children and the
It's just
the animals.
so good, isn't it?
Oh.
And the thing about it is, which I love, is Jacob doesn't end up less blessed.
Yes,
And I think that's the fear sometimes inside the ambitious heart
I've
is,
got to get this.
yeah, if I don't go get this, I don't get this. It's
Yeah.
on me to go get it. And oftentimes that has been informed by lots of times where they weren't supported or protected or whatever, and it has all been on them.
Yeah.
And you take that into your walk with the Lord, and actually in the walk with Jesus, it's not on you at all. It's all on Him. All you need to do is do what He asks, when He asks, how He asks, in the way that He asks. And so I think, like for Jacob, he had to go on this learning that the blessing that God had said would be given by God. It wouldn't be grabbed by him.
Yeah,
God would, as he walked and cooperated with that. It's not like you could sit back and do nothing. As you walk and cooperate with the Lord, it's on the Lord to do that for you. You know, you don't need to grab it for yourself all the time. But yeah, it's tricky. It's a tricky area.
here's where I'd like to end.
Oh, the arms
The
are crossed.
series ending question. So we can talk about this in the sense of like, so when you're with your friends or with your small group of people that you trust, you can navigate ambition in the sense of like, you know, others are rooting for you, moving in the same direction. What about somebody who's in their workplace and it's like a dog eat dog world, right? And it's sort of the fear of like, if I take that posture, Charlotte and Ryan, I'm just going to be walked all over.
Yeah.
How do we I
know, right?
how do we model the Christ-like way in a world where maybe, it will look like we're getting walked all over, but still be ambitious in the sense and stay sanctified in that way? Like, how do we do that?
I don't know. If you figure it out, you should write a book or something.
Yeah, sanctified ambition.
I think, so there's a verse in Philippians where Paul is talking about Timothy, and he says, I have no one else like him who is a genuine concern for your welfare, because everyone else looks out for their own interests instead of the interests of Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And he's talking to people who are in
Ministry,
yeah.
surrounded by people who their interest should be Jesus Christ, but they have their own interests are really the foremost in their mind. And I think as Christians in this world, we have to remember what is our foremost interest. And in our workplace, the question is not what are my interests? How do I protect my interests? It's like what is Jesus Christ interested in this workplace today?
So helpful.
Because sometimes you do have to stand up and fight for something because Jesus Christ is interested in that happening.
Yeah.
And that's not personal ambition. That's the interests of Jesus Christ. And you're going to have to be bold, and you're going to have to, not back down, and you're going to have to take your stand. And you are confident to do that because this is the interest of Jesus Christ in this moment. The complexity comes when the interests of Jesus Christ and our interests start to get twisted and morphed and turned about. So I think a really good question to ask in any scenario is, and not to ask ourselves, what would we know about the interests of Jesus Christ? We can make our interests sound like the interests of Jesus Christ. To honestly get before the Lord and in the context you're in say, okay, what are you interested in, Jesus Christ? Because in my workplace, I should be interested in whatever, A, B, C, D. These should be my goals. Why have you placed me here? And what is your interest? And then you can go after that wholeheartedly, knowing that you're pursuing the interests of Jesus Christ, and be willing to sacrifice whatever needs to be sacrificed to see that realised, because you may have to let go of some other things. I know people who've had to let go of a climbing of a corporate ladder. Because they have believed that the reason that Jesus has put them there in that place is for this reason.
Wow.
So I've got to let go of those other things because that is not the interest of Jesus Christ. This is, and I'm going to pursue that. But then sometimes the Lord, just fast tracks you, because if he needs you to be in a position of power, he can put you there.
Yeah.
So it's not about backing down, because Christians always need to back down. Sometimes Christians need to stand fast.
Yeah.
The question is this my interest, or is this the interest of Jesus Christ? And if it's the interest of Jesus Christ, I'm willing to sacrifice my own personal interests for the sake of his interest, but it cannot flip where I'm willing to sacrifice the interest of Jesus Christ to protect my own interests. Getting before the Lord daily, I would say, and asking that question.
And you can't do that
Important.
without walking in the freshness of the Spirit.
You need him every
Can't just
day.
make a formula and a law.
Every meeting,
Yeah.
every conversation. What is it you want to achieve here? Because there are 62 things I could go
that is so
after, but what's
helpful.
your interest?
So helpful. Sanctified ambition for the ambitious, and for those who are struggling with ambition, let your obedience take you.
Or your ambition won't.
Yeah, that is so good. Thank you. Good conversation.
Good chat.
And thank you guys so much for joining us for this series of Modern Family. Bless you.